Deep in the Panamanian jungle, a story unfolded that, to this day, is one of the most haunting unsolved cases out there. It's a story about two young women, what was supposed to be a dream adventure, and a trail of digital clues that honestly only seem to make the mystery even deeper. So today, let's try to piece together what we know about what happened to them. But to really get this story, we're not going to start at the beginning. We're starting right here, a full week after Kremers and Lisanne Froon went missing. It's 1 o'clock in the morning, they're deep in the jungle, and something really, really strange is happening in the pitch black darkness. A camera flash goes off. And then again, and again, 90 times in just a few hours. It feels like this frantic, desperate attempt to just push back the dark. And in doing so, it captures these incredibly cryptic images that are our only real glimpse into their final harrowing days. To have any hope of figuring this out, we have to go back. We have to understand who these women were. Because this was supposed to be the absolute adventure of a lifetime for two best friends from the Netherlands. So you had Kremers, this creative, open, spontaneous soul, and her best friend Lisanne Froon, who had just graduated with a psychology degree and was known for being really thoughtful and driven. They were smart, responsible travelers who spent months planning this trip. They were going to volunteer, learn Spanish. They arrived in Panama just full of excitement for the journey ahead. Okay, so it's April 1st, 2014. They have a few free days before their volunteer work starts, so they decide to go for what should have been a pretty simple hike on a well-known trail called El Pianista. It's this one decision that, of course, changes absolutely everything. And the timing here is so important. At 4:39 in the afternoon, just a couple of hours after they were seen smiling in a photo at the top of the trail, the very first sign of distress appears. An emergency call is placed from Chris's phone, but it doesn't connect. And what's so weird is, at 4:39 p.m., they still had hours of daylight left. Over the next 10 days, their cell phones basically create this haunting digital diary. You can see it right here. From the 1st to the 5th of April, they're trying to call for help every day, probably turning their phones on just for a second to save the battery. But then, on April 6th, the activity changes, and it's a critical, really heartbreaking shift. So after days of them using the phones correctly, someone starts punching in the wrong PIN code over and over again on Chris's iPhone. This one detail has led a lot of people to a really grim conclusion, that by this point, Kris was probably either incapacitated or had already passed away, and it was Lisanne desperately trying to get into her friend's phone. And this brings us to what is, without a doubt, the most baffling piece of evidence in this whole case. I'm talking about those 90 photos taken in the dead of night, just 2 days after those failed pin attempts began. Now, most of these pictures, they're just black, nothing. But a few are lit up by the flash, and they show these bizarre scenes, like twigs marked with plastic bags, a mirror set up on a rock, and one really chilling, unmistakable image of the back of Kremers' head. So what were they doing? Were they trying to signal for help? Trying to see in the dark? Or were they documenting something else entirely? But wait, because there's another layer to this puzzle. On the camera, there's a single photo missing, number 509. It should be right between their last normal daytime picture and the first of those night photos. And forensics experts say it wasn't just a simple mistake. It wasn't accidentally deleted. It looks like it was intentionally removed or corrupted. So the question is, what did it show? For 10 long weeks, massive searches turned up nothing. It was like the jungle had just swallowed them whole. And then, on June 14th, a local woman who was just walking along a riverbank found something, and it broke the case wide open. It was Lisanne's blue backpack. And the weird thing is, it was found weirdly dry and in pretty good condition, which is strange for a place that gets so much rain. And inside, their phones, the camera, cash, sunglasses, and 2 bras, neatly folded. It was all there. Well, the discovery of that backpack led searchers to the area, and pretty soon the tragic truth was confirmed. Dozens of bone fragments from both Kris and Lisanne were found scattered along that same riverbank. It was the confirmation that they had died out there in the jungle. So, what on earth really happened? All of these fragmented clues have basically led to 2 main theories, and they could not be more different from each other. So on one hand, you have the official theory, which is basically a tragic accident. They got lost, maybe one of them got hurt, and they died from exposure to the elements. But on the other hand, you have the foul play theory, which points to all these inconsistencies: that clean backpack, the weirdly bleached state of some of their remains, the bizarre phone behavior, and of course, that missing photo. All of it seems to suggest that maybe, just maybe, a third person was involved. You know, in the middle of all these theories, it's so important to remember this isn't just some puzzle we're trying to solve for fun. This is a real human tragedy. And as one writer pointed out, sometimes that intense desire to find a villain can lead to really harmful speculation that ends up hurting innocent people. Ultimately, the story of Kris Kremers and Lisanne Froon is just this solemn reminder of how thin that line can be between a beautiful adventure and a devastating mystery. All these years later, we're left with a trail of digital clues, a handful of bone fragments, and a haunting question that we might never get the answer to. What truth is the Panamanian jungle still holding on to?